Discussion about this. Thanks so much for that, David. And for some insights into the intergenerational report from a wealth management perspective, David Lane, the Director of Wealth Management at Pitcher Partners, joins me now from our Brisbane studio. David Lane, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure, Helen.
Now,
Thank you.
it has been accused of, as we were just discussing with our Canberra reporter, of being a bit of a political tool to support passing the government's controversial measures that are left over from the budget. There are some incredible demographic stats. I don't want you to go through those. But what does it all mean for people working longer? And perhaps more importantly, how do we fund these long lives? So firstly, the impact on individuals. How are we going to manage our money for such a long haul?
Well, certainly that's one of the issues that we as a nation face, and also globally is one of the big issues that we face over the coming 40 years. I do find that many of my clients that are recently retired have a view that they need to make their money last and certainly preserve their wealth. But in actual fact, when you are projecting over the next 30 or 40 years for that superannuation money to fund their lifestyle, they actually need to look to more strategic asset allocation and look for some growth investments as well.
So do you think those people retiring, I mean obviously retirees who want to preserve wealth, they would be a little bit more conservative? Are you saying this kind of thing and very low interest rates at the moment are going to push them to take more risks?
Well, certainly that is the potential, and low interest rates are pushing investors towards equities, as we've seen in the US and also in Australia in the last few months. And absolutely that people are moving towards that more riskier part of the market. But it is important to balance those risks as well and make sure that we do have other style of investments like fixed interest or even some cash there for short-term requirements.
So superannuation, or some way to organise an income stream in our later lives, this is going to be more crucial than ever, isn't it? And how best to do that?
Oh, absolutely, and that's certainly one of the points that the Financial Services Inquiry made, was that the ability for the current superannuation system to fund pensions over a long period of time needs to be looked at, quite seriously, and absolutely there needs to be some matching of the income streams to the risk profile of investors, and certainly investing in infrastructure, for example, over a long period of time is a sensible way for superannuation investors to get a reasonable return with having a long-term asset.
And of course, for business in general, there are some enormous opportunities in certain sectors to, grow and to service those sectors. I mean, one that we're talking about is certainly financial services, but also, lots of other sectors will actually have an enormous advantage with this as we, increase the population, but also as we age the population.
Oh, absolutely. That's the case. That certainly, the standouts are obviously healthcare and those companies that are involved in the aged care facilities. They will have a long-term benefit. But then we're also looking at other industries such as leisure, tourism, entertainment that will get benefit from having a large proportion of the population in an aged and probably in a time when they're able to access services that they weren't able to access when they were working.
All right, we'll leave it there. David Lane, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Helen.